working with 10 more and 10 less. Today we're going to start with 100 more, 100 less. So I have a 3-digit number here. It has hundreds place, tens place, and ones place. This is our number that we're starting with. So on this side, instead of doing 10 less, we're focusing on 100 less today. So I'm going to draw my place value chart, hundreds, tens, and ones, and then I'm going to draw the original number, 323. I'm going to draw 3 hundreds, 2 tens, and 3 ones. So I drew 323. Now we're going to be taking away 100. Okay, so I'm getting rid of this 100. So now I only have 2 hundreds. So my new number is 223. Okay? So I had 3 and I took away 1 and now I have 2 hundreds. Okay? On this side, instead of 10 more, we're looking at 100 more. So I'm going to draw my place value chart, hundreds, tens, and ones. Okay? And I'm drawing my original number, which is 325. I'm going to draw 3 hundreds, 2 tens, and 3 ones. Okay? Here I'm going to add 100. So I'm going to add 100 to the hundreds I have, and now I have 4 hundreds. So my new number is 423. So I started with 3 hundreds, I added 1 more, and now I have 4. When we're looking at 100 more, 100 less, our tens and ones places are not changing this time. Only the hundreds place. Okay, so let's go through that one more time. So my number here is 636. I'm going down here and figuring out 100 less first. So I'm going to draw my place value chart. Then I'm going to draw that number, 636. Okay, so I drew 636. Now we're taking away 100. So I'm going to get rid of 100. So now I only have 5. So I have 5 hundreds, 2 tens, 3 tens, because it was 36. I have 3 tens, 6 ones. So my new number is 536. So my tens and my ones place did not change, just the hundreds place. Okay, so now if I take that number and I figure out 100 more, I'm going to draw my place value chart. And I'm going to draw my original number, 636. Okay, so I have 636. Now I'm going to add 100, so I'm adding 100 in the hundreds place, and I now have 700. So my new number is 700. Let me get my different color. 736. So when we're looking at 100 less, 100 more, only our hundreds place is changing. So I took 600s and I added 1 and got 7. I took 600s, I took away 1 and got 5. So we're working on 100 less, 100 more. Okay, so let's look at our quick check. Your quick check today is practicing 100 more, 100 less. So it's very similar to what we worked on yesterday, except we're taking away 100 and adding 100. It's not 10. So I'm first going to put my name on my paper. Okay. And now I'm looking at my original number. My original number is 120. Okay. So we can honestly draw on the paper. So I'm going to draw my place value chart. Let's try drawing it on the paper today. So no whiteboards, no dry erase. Let's try drawing it on the paper and circling our answer. So I'm going to draw my place value chart. Okay, and then I'm going to draw 120. Oop, I'm going to draw the picture. So I'm going to draw 100, 2 tens, and then 0, 1. So I'm going to leave that blank. Okay, then I'm going to get rid of that 100, cross it out. So now I don't have any hundreds, so that's 0. I'm going to leave that blank. I have 2 tens, 0, 1. So I'm going to circle that and show that is my answer. You can try drawing on the paper, but I can understand if that's not enough room, you can do it on the whiteboard. So on the whiteboard, we're starting with our original number, 120, okay? And then we're going to do 100 less first on that side. So I'm going to draw 100, 2 tens, 0 ones. So we're getting rid of that 100 because it's 100 less. I'm going to erase it. So now I have 0 hundreds, I only have 2 tens, and 0 ones. When the place value is blank in front of another number, we don't have to put a 0. We leave it blank. But for this example, since the ones is blank, we put a 0 because it comes after that number. So we still got 20 like the first time, okay? Now we need to go over to this side and do 100 more. So I'm going to keep my whiteboard. I have 100 less on this side. I'm going to do 100 more on the other side, like I did on my anchor chart. Okay, I'm going to draw my place value chart. Now I'm drawing my original number, which is 120. I'm going to draw 100, 2 tens, okay? But this time I'm adding 100, so I'm going to go over to my hundreds place, and I'm going to add 100. So I now have 2 hundreds, 2 tens, and 0 ones, okay? So I have my whiteboard filled out. My new number is 220. Okay, so I'll really leave it up to you. If you want to use a whiteboard and marker, just get that when you are handed your paper. Or if you want to try drawing it on the paper and then circling your answer, it is up to you. But either way, please draw your place value chart. It will definitely help you in solving this. Let's go ahead and do one more together. So our original number is 250. So I'm going to erase my board. And I'm going to write my original number up top so I don't forget. 250. Okay, so on the left side, I'm going to start with 100 less. I'm going to draw my place value chart. And I'm going to draw my number 250. So that's 2 hundreds and 5 tens. No ones because it's a 0 in the ones place. So I drew my number 250. Now I'm taking away 100. So I'm going to erase 100 and I'm left with 1. So my new number is 150. Remember, when we're adding or taking away hundreds, our tens and ones place doesn't change. Only our hundreds place changed. So if I take away 100, my new number is 150. So I'm going to write here, make sure you're writing it on the right side. This is minus 100. 150. Okay? Now let's go over to this side. Now I'm working with 100 more. So I'm going back to that original number, 250. But this time I'm going to add 100. Okay? So I'm going to draw my place value chart. Okay? Now I'm going to draw 250. 2 hundreds, 5 tens, and then 0 ones. This time I'm adding 100, so I'm going to draw an extra 100 and find out my number. I now have 3 hundreds, I still have 5 tens, and I still have 0 ones. So my new number, if I add 100, is 350. So I go over here to the right side and I write 350. Okay? Go slow, take your time, use your whiteboard as needed, draw the picture because that will really help you. We really can't use hundreds charts since we're working with hundreds this time. So draw your picture, whiteboard if you need more room. If you draw it on here, make sure you're circling your answer. But either way, you're drawing that number and you're either taking away 100 or you're adding 100. You can see the pattern there. If I had 2 to start and I took away 1, 2 minus 1 is 1. I still have 50. And then if I started with 2 and I added 1 to the hundreds, I now have 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. I still have 50. So remember, your tens place and your ones place should not be changing. Only your hundreds place. It went from 100, 200, 300. But I still had 50 for every number because my tens and ones place did not change. Take your time on this one. Now, we're going to the back. This is more even and odd practice. Today we're drawing pairs. Yesterday we just decided if the number was even and odd, but today we're working with pairs. Remember, a pair means 2. So if I'm drawing 12 pairs, I'm drawing 12 groups of 2. So remember, how we do that is we're drawing our circles first. I'm going to draw 12 of these. My circles stand for my pair. Okay, so I'm going to count them up and make sure I have 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so I drew 12 pairs, but it's not a pair unless I add my 2 buddies inside. So a pair is a group of 2. Okay, so here's my 12 pairs. Now if I added them all up together, this would be the number 24. 12 pairs is actually 24. Okay, so this one, if you're drawing 30 pairs, draw your circles first. Draw 30 circles, then add your 2 inside the circle just like I did. Okay, so make sure you're doing front and back. I will be back tomorrow and I will double check and make sure that you understood. When you're done, please put it in the blue bin and then get on Zern like normal. Make sure that you're focused. Please don't distract your neighbor. I will be waiting to see if you did a good job tomorrow. Good luck.